So, we have a Sagittarius full moon coming in, and the message that I keep receiving is simple. What do you truly desire? And let me explain why that's so important. So, the biggest thing is this blue moon is a blue moon because it is the second full moon in 30 days in May. So, basically, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Where you focus will be expanded, plain and simple. So, what is important is that you are focusing on what you actually desire, what your heart desires, what your soul desires, not what you've been taught to desire, not what will make you fit in, not what will keep you safe, not what will make you feel successful. It is letting go of the conditioning of culture, of our families, of maybe even our former selves. And so there's this energy that is available for you to sort of catapult forward in the thing that's been calling you, the subtle vision maybe that's in the background. And I'm a Sag Sun, so it's super exciting to talk about this. And one of the reasons this moon is such an incredible moment to manifest is because we're in Gemini season. So basically, Gemini season started mid-May. And so you have this energy already existing that's helping you move through everything we stabilized, everything you released in Taurus season. And that Scorpio full moon and the Taurus new moon were powerful, more so than any other year that I've experienced. And the biggest thing for me was really moving to Oregon and then trying to settle in. And I wasn't quite settling into my identity until I released those things, changed my perspective. And I actually had where my flip flop was caught on a curb and I ate shit. And so from that experience, I didn't get hurt, but it definitely was like an earthquake moving through my body. So there was a lot to integrate. So once I did that integration, what I saw starting to happen in Gemini season is I started to see different perspectives. And so the universe is sort of asking us, what is it that you truly desire? It's sort of like when people say, if no one else is looking, who would you be? If no one else is paying attention, tracking you, telling you what to do or how to be successful, what would you choose? What would light you up? What would give you satisfaction? What would give you that shock, awe, wonder that we get when we see beautiful things in nature, when we experience things that we never have experienced before, or maybe don't even seem real. And I've had a lot of those experiences since I came to Oregon. This place is so aligned with my soul, with my mission with Gaia. And truly, if you have followed any part of my journey, you'll know that I lived in Costa Rica for 2 years. So I sold everything, closed up my physical business, went completely virtual, and moved to Costa Rica. I started hosting retreats there, had a lot of experiences. But when I set to move there, I had no idea I was living on my Chiron line. And so the intensity was just sort of dialed up by living there. And you can find out where your different lines run through astrocartography. But back to this moon. So it's an opportunity for us to truly dial in what we want Jupiter to expand. And even though it's a lunation, it's the planets sort of come together with this beautiful energy of really moving us along on our path. And so a great way to work with this energy is looking at your chart and seeing where Sagittarius is in your chart, where Gemini is in your chart, and what you have in the ninth and third house. The third house is associated with the qualities of Gemini, and the ninth house is associated with the qualities of Sagittarius. So let's talk about that. So the qualities of Sagittarius really are focused on spirituality, philosophy, long distance travel, higher learning. So the important part is not just the knowledge, but fire signs ask you to embody what you know. And that means you have to live it out for it to become wisdom, for it to be held in your cells, in your understanding, in your body. Gemini is a lot about the mind. It's an air sign. So you have a lot of fast moving technology, communication. And so this season is really about moving through what you desire and what you think about. What may be highlighted is what you need to release, like limiting beliefs or ways that you think about things, the ways you move through habits, and letting go of maybe some habitual parts of yourself as you shed more selves that aren't going with us along on this journey. And for Sagittarius, it really is focused on experiences. So, all of these moves that I've made and ways that I interact with Gaia and nature and people are all about the experience. And then I sort of like compost what isn't necessary and move forward with what is useful to me. And the biggest thing about this lunation, I think, to understand is you don't have to dive into all of this to understand what you desire. Those answers are already within you. Once you know what you desire, then you can look at your charts to see the house that Sagittarius is in. That's where this moon will affect this aspect of your life. So if you're aware of what you desire, then you can look at what area will be affected. So if you use my chart for an example, I have Sagittarius in the fifth house. That's the qualities of Leo. So childlike joy, siblings, wonder, really bringing forward my inner child to play and to discover what my life could be like. And that's exactly what I've been doing since I moved to Oregon. And I think that that's one of the things that really, when I look at it, as I've embodied more of my son, my Sag son, all these other qualities are sort of integrating and coming forward. So the more I travel, the more I have fun, the more I embrace adventure and embrace sort of bringing more play back into my life, then it's like you have a remembrance of previous moments, previous parts of you, experiences that you've had. And then I'm finding myself integrating, like me being an art therapist, me bringing different ways that I made art, different experiences I have had throughout my lifetime when I've traveled. And some of them are calling me back, like Costa Rica's calling me back in November. I had never been to Oregon, but it literally is like the perfect marrying of Denver and Costa Rica in one place. So it has the seasonal changes like Denver has, but it has the milder climate like Costa Rica. And it has, moss and trees and waterfalls and beautiful flowers. And I live in the Willamette Valley. So there is an element of, fruit, and especially Pinot is grown here. So Pinot grapes and vineyards. And it is just such a beautiful landscape. And really, that's exactly what my heart desired. Like, I think about when I was 3 or 4, I would go in this field behind my house and I would eat blackberries off the bush, and I would really play and experience nature. And my grandma taught me to look at insects and have reverence for everyone having a place in this world. And I think that that's really what we all desire, right? Is to have a place in this world and to get to express ourselves in a way that truly aligns with who we are. And I think if we start thinking about that more than we think about a job, and we pursue that passion, that desire, then I think what we will find is there will be energetic exchange for it. There will be energetic exchange for you to get to experience who you were designed to be and who you truly are. And I think that's the whole point, is we came here to be human, to be a spirit, a soul, and a human body. And I think we are teeing up to truly have the most amazing shift in our world, for everyone to be honored, for everyone to show up Once you accept yourself and you understand your desire and you begin to step into your soul mission, you really have an opportunity to love other people the way you love yourself. And that is what, for most of us, has been in the way. So, another place to like dive into your healing path and what your soul came to experience is the Chiron wound and your North Node. And we can talk about that more in the next episode. But the thing to understand is every Chiron wound, underneath it, the question is, am I enough? And each sign where Chiron lands, it's just giving you the flavor of maybe what you chose to experience. So your soul may have experienced, like we're getting ready for Chiron to move into Taurus. And so a lot of people will experience their Chiron returns if it's in Taurus. I'm closing out mine, which was in Aries. Aries is the wound of self. Taurus is more the wound of abandonment or loss. And so you may have a specific focus on Venus placements, on love, relationships. Libra and Taurus are both ruled by Venus. And so there may be this focus on relationships, this focus on material gain or loss. There may be focus on stability and really big transitions like moves or changing jobs or relationships. And so you may have experienced maybe some challenges around that. And as you claim yourself and you know that you're enough no matter what has transpired, then you know that you belong to yourself. And if you belong to yourself, you can never lose yourself and you can never lose anything because what is aligned to you once you start walking the path of your soul's mission and towards your North Node and your purpose, you can't lose anything. So I think that that's the biggest thing right now to focus on is this idea that if you understand what you truly desire and it's in alignment with what your soul came to experience, then you can't go wrong. And this moon is just here, not to be feared, but to help you see if you get in touch with that alignment and what you are being called to, and you're willing to dive in to take that Sagittarian risk on yourself, that you will be rewarded, that what you love, what you desire will truly be expanded. So I think we're going to leave it there. Next time, we'll talk about Chiron, the North Node, Gemini season a bit more. Feel free to follow me, Everyday Illumination, everywhere. I'm Amy Leiter, and I love you so much.